Welcome everyone to more open source work here live on our More Live channel. Today, as usual, combining the best of vintage and retro and yesteryear's latest and greatest high performance like Hewlett-Packard PARISC Precision Architecture RISC and state-of-the-art Ryzen 7 1750X 1750X. Overclock stability testing, HP PARISC-64. So I think the build was complete the other day. Also, I test built it like PowerPC and stuff, right? All right, this is of course net touch. It's like, but we do. I still have some others didn't delete the other day. Something it doesn't like here, or T2 scripts for whatever reason. Reboot, not really sure. I probably should better check. Yeah, it must be some strange bug in our scripts. Anyway, even our stuff is not bug-free. What should we do? Probably share, like, subscribe and stuff to make our stuff more bug-free. Touch build. So this was just leftover backup build. Not sure why I couldn't delete that. Probably something wrong with some grep or whatever with .backup. Probably need to debug that another day. Not the most important for today. So yeah, we changed this AT-SPI. They changed this from shipping ATK and AT-SPI core because only constant change and regressions. Not sure what's up with this stuff. I saw it the other day. All right, so this is what I remembered. So yeah, this AT-SPI stuff I need to review. Maybe they also had this AT-SPI ATK stuff also in there. Wouldn't surprise me the most. We'll probably check this later in some minutes. What we need to do, so Linux is probably, yeah, that was the only package. And so to build that will fail because we need a freaking 64-bit compiler. Usually, at least for many architectures like x86 PowerPC, but only Big Endian, Spark, RISC-V. GCC supports BARCH, compiling for both, usually with -M32-M64, except sometimes not, sometimes with whatever. For ARM, unfortunately, probably because ARM, previous video right on my main channel, ARM instructions and architecture, ARM either ARM64 or like how ARM wants to have this stuff called is AArch64 for reasons only ARM Limited probably can tell you. I hate this name. ARM64 also, maybe because it's different, like a little bit different. GCC upstream does not support ARM32 and ARM64 in one compiler, which is also stupid. So, and for Hewlett-Packard, long story short, for Hewlett-Packard HP PARISC also not. I didn't review how different that either is. Maybe also too different, or they are just lazy. They give us millions of lines of code for industry-leading compiler for free, but they're too lazy to support 32 and 64-bit in one compiler. So we need to create a second package. I discussed this well, there are other solutions. We could also hack up our package, GCC package, internally to build GCC twice, but that is of course also a mess. As per usual, there are usually infinite ways, or at least crazy amounts of different solutions. Usually there are like 2, 3, 4, 5, like primary, secondary, like everything has pros and cons, right? Of course, it's a con that we need to duplicate our package, but it's a pro that on the pro side of arguments, our GCC package is already one of the more complex ones, and I don't want to overload our readability and maintainability of our main GCC package with only HP PARISC stuff. So we will, and there's certainly solutions in between, right? We could even, I mean, what we also could do, we could actually, you see, there's like two primary things. either hacking up our GCC package, building it twice with a different Arch triplet, with all the complexity and bugs and features. We could have a second package. We could also actually, instead of modifying our main GCC package, we actually have the functionality to overlay the package in HP PARISC, which actually we could actually also in fact do. Maybe that is actually the even better choice now that I think. And then you think there's a primary and like a more pro things of keeping it streamlined and maintainable and stuff. And then there are also different variants of this, where I usually say there's like one or two or a dozen solutions. There are of course infinite solutions that you could, even if you say there are 100 solutions, no, there is always someone who can come up with solution 101 and stuff of making stuff even more crazy. Maybe after all, because maybe having an overlay, so what that means instead of copying, so actually I wanted to copy a GCC to a GCC 64, but then we would have a GCC 64 package only for HP PARISC. Of course, we have the facility, and we would of course mark it as only HP PARISC. Only let's turn the camera. Yesterday I turned the camera. Sometimes when I sit differently, then different how I want this cropped and stuff. Of course, we have the facility to mark packages of only some architectures, but a GCC 64, and that's also the thought process, right? You can always start to hack on something, and only at the end, I mean, sometimes you realize that this was not ideal, you want to do it differently. And I wonder, should we start? And so even it's like, of course we do it that way. It's like, I start doing it's like, yeah, maybe a little bit too messy and so. A similar solution we would need, because the other thing is, if we wanted to support GCC 32-bit for ARM64, which obviously is a way more popular architecture than HP PARISC, which only myself and maybe some friends and family and other vintage retro fans care about. Because the other thing is, we would have a similar package, GCC 32, for ARM64. We could, of course, like to unify that, because basically it's the same, just like one is changing that from Arch triplet to 64, the other is changing it from Arch triplet, removing the 64 for ARM32. We could then, instead of having two copies, GCC 64 and GCC 32, we could actually name it GCC Alt for alternative and stuff, but the name would also suck. So yeah, maybe we could even share the code. So if we do that now in HPPA, so we could have an overlay here. We have that, for example, for Spark or stuff, or some packages somewhere. PowerPC. Yeah, we have here bin utils post. Let's maybe copy that. Oh, this is actually way less than I wanted to. So much to copying that. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. Just close the balcony door. Had enough cold for this year. Cold and COVID. Tired of it. But nothing like some fresh air in the office. So what we could do here is, and we could inherit that, right? We could define it in ARM or HPA, doesn't matter, and like have the code generic for altering the Arch triplet, and only like inherit it from the other, like source, this shell script file, inherit it, and only support it so generically to, obviously, one's HP PARISC, the other ARM. So it would somehow be post make, and like at the end of everything or so. So we could usually use 7. It doesn't really matter. That's probably supports all numeric IDs. We could do it. Usually we use probably 1 to 9 or stuff. I'm not sure what numeric range works here, what we implemented, but I usually don't use the highest and lowest numbers, having even more flexibility Usually we use 5 in the middle of that. It only matters if you stack other builds, right? So I usually use 5 or like 3 to 7 and stuff to always have more flexibility in case I ever needed to add anything else additionally at the end. So post make, so the only thing for that is, do we do that post make or pre make? It always sounds GCC, how do we call that? Let's name it like that and see what happens. Build GCC. And so the only the main argument for build GCC2 maybe, because it's maybe not, it's in case we pre-build. So the benefit of pre-building that instead of post-building that is that if we clobber header files, which we might if we're not careful, or might be hard to patch away, pre-building the alternative variant has the benefit of later reinstalling these headers, which might have 32 versus 64-bit stuff in there. We actually have here lots of rebuilding stuff. Well, lots of it. And you see there's already pre-make 7, post-make. Yeah, there's already crazy complexity of this M32 hackery of some architectures and stuff. Does it have transform? No. Program name? No. Yes, program prefix. Arch target. So here it starts with the cross-compiler stuff. And that is stuff we would need to modify so much to the ease of that. So let me think about this. We run all this stuff, all this tricks and hackery. What a crazy complexity. It's certainly, there are certainly other, like, if you package Google Chrome, which we, like I and Notec already started twice, there's certainly other complexity on LibreOffice, but that is certainly, yeah, like LVM Clang. There's also create command wrapper for XGCC. Do we, maybe we only need that once. So basically we would need all of that, kinda sorta. Basically we want to rerun, kinda rerun this twice. The only question is how to best do that. Yeah, GCC is certainly not configure make install. What is even that doing? I think this was some, and that is where the chaos starts. Do we even, I mean, we don't really need full STL support, at least not for HP PARISC. What did we do here though? GCC default M32. Oh, that is here. This was somehow a hack of Alright, because somehow it mixed something up. Alright, because I remember this was some extremely tricky scripting. It probably took me 8 hours to debug that stuff to come up with this hack of an hack of this hack squared. So maybe what did we do here though? So that code runs. So the question, sometimes we run code in functions, but this runs straight away when this package stuff is evaluated. And basically it's also what we need. So most of the stuff we need, or all of the stuff we need, rebuilding a whole compiler. I guess it could also, I mean, the only thing is, yeah, we just redefine that. Let's maybe try and get this started. Let's make that pre-make. I have a better gut feeling of building that early. Or maybe even, you know what we even do? We even need this pre-conf. I guess that is one of the build alternative GCC. Maybe that is a better name. I was struggling with this name. Here, and then we do, so where are we? We are patched, scripts evaluated, all the environments set up. Basically ready to configure, so I guess mkdir because we should be in some object dir, so this object dir, we hopefully don't have that right object. Sometimes if we build alternative stuff, I name the stuff the same, and then sometimes it collides. Developed. Okay, we don't have object here 2 yet. What does not look? Could have been there was some multi-lib trickery. I had my object here. Or we name this, yeah, let's name, because if we reuse this for ARM, otherwise I could have named this object here 32, but it's either 64 or 32. So, all right, we also, so we want to protect all our environments, so everything we modify. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I usually do is use your new subprocess, or how this is precisely called, that preserves the working directory and all the environments, so everything we modify here. So if we, I think this worked right, if we cd scripts and then, yeah, because it should probably be a full subprocessor stuff. So mkdir and cd there. And then basically build this package. The problem is with all the hooks actually. I wonder, so it's actually not that easy. I mean, we could maybe for the most part, we need to reset at least arch target. All right, and this program prefix. So what we can usually do, we can actually, you know what, if we quote this differently, because we will eval that. So what we sometimes do already, and so much to causing regressions, right, in other builds. But if we don't expand that here, we don't need to redefine that, because we need to modify that to HP PARISC-64. Program. The same goes here for actually the question is, does it install lib stuff and that collides? I hope we don't have stuff failing because it's the same library stuff installed. I need to see. So much. So let's quickly do that, and then one program after another. Also, yeah, thanks to only GCC upstream not supporting barch for those architectures. Actually, arch target is probably historically we did not have to do it if we buy target for Canadian. Have to do it. So let's do that here too. And arch target is there, arch host. So how much of all this other trickery would we need? Because otherwise we could try to build it like that, could we? The only question is this XGCC wrapper thing. Another thing is we have a build this package function. We basically could reuse all the build this package infrastructure stuff, which maybe we did already for some other package. So arch target, let's see, architecture. So we need to redefine those here. I think they should be in the environment. Not sure if they are used somewhere, but they might be. I think they are straight from our environment. The only thing is our config cache might be already predefined, but let's see how that goes. So theoretically that redefined has it a chance to work? Build all GCC. I sometimes wondered if probably it should be valid syntax to do it like that. I sometimes wondered if that would not be, is that confusing or, nah, even the comments below, 1, 2, 3, 4. Otherwise it might look like it might be something super special. So does it have a chance to work? Actually, alright, we should probably check if our arch target stuff here is... Actually, we use quotes here like that. That also works. Probably the result should be pretty similar. Not sure why we did it this style here. Why do we use this arch target here? Why have I done it like that? Because we don't... Would it not make more sense to use the same style here? Maybe I shouldn't make experiments now. So it's also using different quoting. This should be a little bit more consistent. But yeah, this is escaped. The conf opt stuff is escaped, so arch target arch. So toolchain is arch target arch build arch build. So arch target host arch target. It's build target build host build host. Let's see what happens. Where did I even have that? Not sure where my... Let's see. So what we need to build is 0 GCC. Of course, it is a full build, so results might vary, but of course it already failed early. Figure knows it. Fine, whatever. Maybe we are not in object tier yet. Or are we? So that is in set conf opt. Okay, this is 3 pre-conf. But okay, we have, we are not evaluating those hooks here. So we can just do that. This is, of course, if someone later, actually, you know what, I should have used verbose build. If someone, these are the details, this kind of details that easily break. If someone like us refactors something and then other stuff relying on other implementation details, then this might hold, catch fire, and blow up. Then okay, there is eval. Is it not logging? No, it's not logging that. What is it doing here? So it's running here with program prefix HP PARISC-64 Linux. That is this even in? I guess it doesn't yet fully work, especially if we don't rename this properly. Or did I not change the quoting here? I thought I changed that. Did I not save that? Probably I didn't save that for some stupid reason. Yeah, so that build so far so good. Then at least the control flow like that works, but it didn't build so much too. If it builds or compiles the stuff, it does not mean that it works like you want it or designed it to. So I have arch target there. So problem is this config command. Does it not? Where is the? Wait, there I saw something. Okay, now that works. Program prefix HP PARISC-64 T2 Linux, and I only hope BinUtil supports both. Actually, that we might also. Yeah, so much too crazy. And this is also why other distribution, others, if not many of this 1945 also other Linux distributions, lots of them either only support x86 or have no toolchain maintainers anymore for all the crazy complexity. Ouch. Is this assembly not working, or it might be that this cannot compute suffix object, cannot compile. Is it libgcc? It might be what I just said with binutils. But I thought binutils in the meantime supports like even all targets. It showed list of targets supported by it. Was it? So many. That's where are we in objective 2? So yeah, probably, and welcome everyone, probably GCC builds, and then I once built, probably wouldn't surprise me. Or does it prefix binutils with the same name? Maybe we need to. I mean, yeah, we could probably build binutils twice too. Let's see what. Maybe it invalid option. Unrecognized. Oh wait, this might be not really Q version. Is that normal or? That is a strange thing. What the heck? 114, what even is in there? Exec original. Maybe it wants this potentially prefix with the same name. Not sure what's going on there. That is of course but it would make sense to have binutils twice too, though, to be honest and fair. Let's maybe try that before I waste my time poking around in this mess that are the scripts and stuff. It's nothing like a sound membrane keyboard. Do you have any personal dev blog? Well, theoretically yes, but as it is pointless, I found already 10-15 years ago it's pointless to have also maybe partially broken into updates and stuff. But yeah, what is the point to have a blog if nobody reads it, and if you don't make money with it, right? If your goal is to earn at least some cents to finance your open source stuff, like the AdSense, it's like cents, right? You, even after 10, 15 years, like even back in the day from, let's say, 2000 to 2010 or stuff, like, yeah, you can forget this. You need millions of views to make any AdSense or something. Yeah. Actually, by the way, I think it's only broken like that because of this bloody Instagram embedding or whatever. But yeah, build all. I mean, we could actually have a generic function for that, but because basically that is the same for both. Let's see what happens there. But yeah, and this is also why I turned to YouTube, right? Seeing all these famous YouTubers making funny videos and having fun and stuff. I basically thought either Casey Neistat or Louis Rossmann, which are certainly two opposite of the extremes. I thought I'm certainly not like riding an electric bike through Berlin like Casey Neistat, or have that much time to film stuff. Maybe also not as much talent as Casey Neistat to film stuff. But following that, like documenting software development, like Louis Rossmann did micro soldering, like basically, so I did this wrong. The micro soldering of electrons and bits and bytes here on this channel of software and stuff, software development. Because yeah, it makes no sense to spend any time and effort in maintaining a crappy dynamic database-driven vlog stuff, which also basically is a fail. I would never do it like that with WordPress. It's also obviously super outdated. I probably urgently need to convert it to something reasonable. Yeah, so this is basically the summary how I turned to YouTube. I was thinking if other people get millions with micro soldering, or just counting 200,000, as some YouTubers did. Let's see what we got here. We should have, I also have there 64 now. There's actually some stuff in there, surprisingly. Just not, why is there not a... there, cross HPPA. So yeah, now we have that stuff. Maybe that helps actually for cross-compiling. Let's see if that fixes 0 GCC. Theoretically, so this will not... I mean, first I only tackle cross-compilation. Maybe we don't even build a native compiler. Having a native variant there in the system would be a little bit more effort. I'm not even sure how we would do that. But given that we mostly cross-compile anyway here on Zen 4 and stuff, Epic Threadripping through that on the latest and greatest enthusiast platform, and I would normally not build too much software on a like gigahertz scale, like dual 1.2 gigahertz UltraSpark or quad core only 1 gigahertz, like Sunblade 1.2 is only 1.0. So far, does this build longer now with cross bin utils for HP PARISC-64? So yeah, it's probably only 10% of the time, but I leave that for another day. For now, I would only want to cross-compile Linux kernel to obviously cross-compile Linux kernel in like 3 to 5 minutes or so. I think it builds longer, fingers crossed. I should have done this for both. So I guess there's a chance this might actually do something. This is finished building. So then we need to tackle it with the Linux kernel whether it actually is working. So that is expected because we still use the wrong compiler. Let's manually test that once and then we script that. So currently we use this make opt. And so maybe we only need to change cross-compile and that. So 64. What did I even do there? What do I have? So just a copy and paste that made. So yeah, this is still PARISC because that is a unified one directory thing. Let's see what RKCC, not what. We don't have a KCC link. Or maybe this is done. But yeah, I guess it looks better. It's not super. I mean, there are some questions, including we might not, we will for sure not wrap the compiler because we only wrap. But yeah, this is probably looks like it's building. Which is obviously what we wanted, to have a 25th anniversary release of T2 supporting HP PARISC. This looks surprisingly good. Let's YOLO that for now. Maybe we can simply, and so the reason I modify the base scripts here is to have this more flexible, right? So we have a cross-compile that might also only use, or this might also be in the other, no, our Apple developer program is about to expire, yay. Arch target, right, this might be in the other. So the reason I modify the base scripts is to be more flexible, right? Similar to how I modified GCC and binutils. I will modify that here, for example. So how did I modify the other ones? What did I use in the other ones? I think I just used this quotes, didn't I? Because then, so where's this arch prefix? Where do we have this arch prefix, arch target? Because then we can probably, where's this KCC coming up? Probably from GCC. We should be able to simply override that. Wait, do we even? Did we even build the right kernel configuration? Yeah, PARISC-64, probably we built the 64-bit variant. Tom asks, which platform do you use for development? What do you mean with platform? CPU or stuff, but otherwise this is my Linux distribution that I run for 25 years, right? So Rock Linux legacy that then became T2 Linux for soon 20 years. Otherwise, I mean, I use everything, right? PARISC next to me, RISC-V there, so from ARM to x86, but that is Ryzen 7950X right now. I usually cross-compile everything on the latest enthusiast stuff I can find. But otherwise, we have here everything at Exacode. Don't delay. Use Exacode for not only scan software, but otherwise security and development consulting and whatnot. And we have everything except DEC Alpha, which we will get as soon as someone donates it or we find an affordable offer, and an Itanium. Otherwise we have nearly everything except Motorola 68K. We have some 68 stuff, but not a full 68K. So we have 68 HC, whatever, 11 and whatnot, microcontroller stuff, but and probably Motorola 68K in something like a printer, but yeah. And you can share, like, subscribe and donate stuff, right? Because obviously I need the next, eventually I need the last 3 big architectures. What was there? Have you seen Google's announcement about operating system? Yes, I've seen that. I have it on my list. I want to shortly discuss that with them. Well, yeah, now they have Fuchsia, and so yeah, another future Google graveyard. In general, appreciates their microkernel efforts with Fuchsia and now the SE L4, security enhanced L4 stuff, but now in Google it probably graveyard stuff, but anyway. So let's architecture HP PARISC. So in retrospect, in the beginning of the video, I wanted to copy this package. In retrospect, it's probably the better choice to custom rebuild GCC for these architectures in one package there, because you usually want to have this in sync and together and stuff, and bin utils too. So it probably was a better choice. And why we intend to have this flexible target and architecture overlay and extending and stuff. So package, let's copy bin utils also to package Linux post I mean, theoretically we probably could use pre even, but you know, let's try. This pre, the difference is one is post evaluated after the main package code config stuff, and the other is pre-evaluated before the main package code configuration file, and in case you're wondering. But we have a handbook, which I didn't touch much, but still is probably 90% valid if you wanted to read the handbook. Linux pre-off. So the only thing we need here, we don't need any fancy stuff, we only need to reset Z for H target, and probably did I had prefix here of prefix. Why did I? All right, the prefix is. Do we not use it in GCC? Maybe not. So the prefix is the whole thing with T2. So that is probably that. And then let's see if the kernel builds. And then as usual for T2 stuff, that was, I wanted to 30 minutes, but of course it took 50. Yeah. There's some spam to wipe. Report unwanted spam shit. And hide user on this channel. You had your chance. So, I wanted to check this arch prefix. Yeah, it's of course that. And then let's see what happens. I mean, then it was surprisingly smooth. I hope it doesn't cause any other regressions. Okay, that doesn't name. Why does it not find HP PARISC-64 Linux LD? Should we not have that? We also need so much to that. We probably have it there, maybe not in the path. A little bit surprised that the other stuff builds in. Oh no, we don't have that. Ah, there's a GNU missing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is why we test stuff and not just commit when we think we are done. Where is my... Somehow I think I sometimes mess up my bash history for some. T2 Linux GNU, of course. I mean, we could, you know what, we could actually, for this stuff, we could substitute that just because then it's a little bit more flexible. Like arch prefix HPPA to HPPA-64. And so the others we could substitute too, but it's just that much longer than just doing it. You know what, very theoretical, oh no, yeah, let's leave it like that. So arch size of long, I mean, probably unused, but it's better use it. I think this, why is this not sorted? Maybe, I think it's arch prefix. It probably should do, let's also sort the other. Of course, it's functionally equivalent. If we don't make a copy and paste mistake, I just like the stuff well sorted. So, let's try that again. That does not, right, we need to modify the CC to because we don't have KCC, so maybe should we have this unset? A little bit tricky. Why do we even need this make opt thing? All right, we reset that to clear that completely, apparently. Do we have in the debug environment the arch prefix? Yeah, we have. Yeah, we somehow need to wrap, and I mean, we could remove the CC equals for now. And the crazy thing is, should we, because I only had here an old, right, I think it didn't build anyway. Because I just wanted to say we use an older kernel because their VDSO stuff didn't, or did it? I know, I think we could even try that, because I just overlaid here the kernel the other day because their VDSO stuff required two compilers, and now we have them. I patch that here because that arch suffixes call this bloody mess here of the super nonsense. Cross 32, so what does it do here? So here we just set that to CC. Yeah, let's YOLO that for now here. Let's hardcode that. How do we best do that? That is pre-evaluated, so unfortunately we reset. So much to pre-evaluating that actually. If we, because we don't so much to that, why would you sometimes use that pre versus post evaluated? Because now we can't modify the already set stuff. So let's because then I hope all the other stuff should still be valid, should it? Because then we can var append make opt cc equals and cross cc. Should we all right, and this is actually as I use yeah. You know what, so then we don't have it anymore, right? Because we modified it. So let's first add cross cc with the old arch prefix gcc, then modify the stuff. It's maybe also better to add that to make instop if it rebuilds something. I think it doesn't do that, but better be on the safe side. And then let's override the... Actually, wait a second. If we... Check. Nothing like USB glitches on AMD AM5. Yeah, so much to probably live stream from HP PARISC or Apple G5 would be more stable. Actually, heck, even the VRCHA001 prototype previous video. Then AIM, yeah, Gigabyte X670E recurrent USB glitches come here. Sorry for that. Hope that wasn't. I mean, So yeah, also if you're wondering, it's of course like cannot submit ERP stuff in like 2022, and it's only constant is change and USB instability. Probably need a t-shirt of that too. So one last thing here of Arch prefix. GCC, there was some, because the Arch prefix has that already in there. Yeah, USB, what should I say? I mean, the crazy stuff is, I mean, I wonder if it's Linux fault or Gigabytes or AMD's, or also AMD used S-Media as a partner there, so maybe it is S-Media. I'm not sure how much S-Media did, because S-Media is not, for me, the best reputation. For me, it's crazy that AMD partnered with S-Media, as far as I learned from the media, for that chipset stuff. Maybe I should actually, so much to getting it on launch day, to adapt AMD Ryzen 7000 AM5. I said it in the videos. Launch day stuff is to rip off enthusiasts and first adopters with overpriced X670 stuff. Didn't expect it to be that legit though, but let's hope once upon a time that is fixed. So what failed here? Let's see what errored out here now. Videos or offset, restart. Alright. Or not right. Is it using the right compiler? That is a question. I think that in general probably should be fine. Let's maybe check if they both with our rebuild stuff. Compile must. And 64. Alright, done. I've overwritten that. That's a 64-bit file, and that is a 30-bit file. Okay, in general, they look okay. I mean, I probably could work around that for now by using the last kernel that I previously had overlaid there that didn't have the VDSO stuff. Not exactly sure what's going on there. Yeah, it will not just, I mean, we could check what it runs there. Does it still run some, or is it running, or is that it's VDSO 32? Should this be the VDSO? Okay, I think it's using the wrong compiler. Okay, let's patch that only, or maybe that's our patch. We could patch that, excuse me, for HPPA only Cross-32cc, or did I name that wrong? Maybe I named this wrong. Maybe I named this cross. Or did I make it cross 32? No, I didn't name that wrong. that is Cross-32 CC. We don't even set CC, so let's check if that works. Let's PARISC, where was it in makefile? Probably here. Compile. Oh, there's Cross-32 compile. And if arch PARISC, then this shit, otherwise. Or did I? Wait a second. Cross-32 compile. I really hate this shit here though. So it's doing that here. Maybe the arch is not set to PARISC-64 either. Maybe we should do that. Let's maybe better set the arch to PARISC. Where do we... Does it solve our problem? Maybe. Probably. So we set this how does this is also silly. Does it even do they internally translate that? This is what a mess. It's hilarious that the Linux kernel is not using that. They have their own like Linux CPU thing that doesn't match directly to otherwise used arch triplets, which is, you see the results there. It's like, yeah. If they would have just some professionals who would use something else in x86. So PARISC, yeah, we actually translate that away there explicitly. So maybe that works. Also, do we manually index into... Yeah, let's see if that does something. Because if we manually index into defcon stuff of arch Alex CPU thing, which we may or may not do. Oops. Yeah, now we have arch PARISC-64. Should it be? I think it was PARISC-64, right? I'm actually surprised that this works, because usually they want arch set here, so there is no PARISC. But maybe they translate that early in this makefile. Probably they do. Interesting. Okay, so they actually substitute that manually. Interesting. Maybe that wasn't there 10 years ago. Maybe that is new. They also do this only for a handful of architectures, so that would only work for Spark. Yeah, for very, very few. Not even PowerPC. Source arch there. Yeah, okay, so in general it's a good thing that we do that. It's like, yeah. Still doesn't work though. Shit. Alright, because you know what, why this doesn't work? How does it fail now? Maybe it fails the same, which wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. The problem is we actually use this anyway, wouldn't solve our solution, because we probably, I'm pretty sure, use that to copy stuff. So did we had here? Probably this is SED. But we can still manually set it. I mean, it didn't solve the main problem. I more wonder if maybe we should better set that, not so for the HP PARISC build to get confused there. I wish also, I really hate when actually, I wanted to use the more professional terms. I really hate when people say confused and stuff. Of course, the scripts and sources on computer do not get confused. When they rely and expect, like the Linux kernel developers and build scripts, if I don't want to take chances here and have stuff work only by pure chance and accident, and when they otherwise not get confused but rely on the scripts for other linking stuff. We can of course check that here in PARISC if we grab where they might use that. So they use it at least here in the make file. Not really that often. Here they only set that. They have this in kconfig though. Maybe we should better PARISC. What do they do here? 64-bit. Okay, this is only one thing, so maybe they don't use it much. So that was the default there. That was when they reassigned that, so that was only the 64-bit default. So it looks that it might be mostly not be a thing or not used. So I mean, we could override this to be on the safe side, because we for sure use it in our own scripts to copy stuff, but we could pass another arch here to the build, so we could override that. So this is, what did we have in the meantime? Post again. So we could override this to arch PARISC, or actually if we, so our new arch, do we, oh, we don't have PARISC here, okay, so yeah, we can override it here with PARISC-64, just, it's probably of no real use, just to make sure. You never know what in the future they might use it more, even if we know, reviewed that it's not used for something really necessary, for something vital, only some default configuration choices. But you never know what they do next week or next month, right, or next year, and then better maybe save ourselves hours, because if something breaks next year, we might have forgotten of all the details, and then we might spend hours of researching that, and it'll be at the end like due setting arch there. I cancel that here manually because it probably breaks the same. I wanted to evaluate that, what it does now. We have set this arch twice, which doesn't hurt. The last thing is used. In general, it's like extra code to remove it, so in general, it's like, yeah, whatever. You maybe didn't have that mounted. You maybe installed the tool tempfs where it booted in, so you only need 4 GB maybe, maybe a safe default is 8. In the meantime, some more questions here. Thanks for the blessings. Probably you didn't have your file system mounted. Probably your storage thing you probably installed into tempf in the root initial init.rd tempfs. The installer is running from. So I'm surprised it built so long now. Let's try VM Linux first. Okay, this failed already. Thank you very much. So setting this arch didn't help us. So it should be here. So somehow this doesn't work, I think. So it's trying here. This is CC arches, and I mean this is of course complete nonsense here of trying this random shit. Should this not work? Because we had cross32cc defined. Do we have more of this in there? Oh, there's also. Oh, this is poor PC PARISC. Still didn't have right. I guess there was a. Why is it freaking using the wrong compiler? At least I think that's what it. I think it should not use HP PARISC. Probably like 64. Is it using that in the top level directory? Ah, should we? So it's running in tmux. So one thing I hate is not being able to. Still doesn't work. But maybe that is. Was it generated? Was it generated wrong already? So this is I think I could quit on that for today. It's I'm a little bit wondering though. I thought it built. It must be that. I mean, should I give it one last chance? because we can use a slightly older compiler where they didn't have, because this VDSO stuff is new for HP PARISC. But this was anyway using, this was still, I should have tested that more. Do I run VM Linux? I do. Probably still not using the right oh, this can't just build now. Oh, shit. It might be that it pre-generates something also already with the wrong compiler, because some of this is still using HP PARISC. Why would it do that? We run with cross-compile arch prefix hostcc cross 32cc. I mean, how much more should we tell those makefiles that we want? Did we set cross 32 compile? I think before this is using, why is this still using, at least, I mean, I would think it is wrong. Because it is in the VDSO, so it wasn't it, did I not see there? I mean, there is VDSO 32 symbol. Was there not somewhere VDSO? Maybe before that. Actually, there are both though. What did we run? Cross-compile. I really hate debugging makefile stuff. Probably everyone has debugging makefile stuff. I mean, maybe it's, is this maybe HP PARISC-64? Did we not? PARISC-64 Arch. So it's hard, or did this build? Did this build and maybe it's... it could still be that something was misgenerated if... No, it's, yeah, I think I give up on this. None. This needs more guru meditation. What's going on there? If there is something generated or not. Is there some? I mean, it's whatever. It should be prepared to work. Cross-32cc, was it? I think if we set it on the command line, this should work there. Arch prefix. I think for now I don't need the latest kernel. Let this kernel people figure this out. Maybe there's still a bug in there. Let's try if the previous kernel without VSO builds fully and then call it a day. I still wonder why the bloody USB is so glitchy on this bloody board. That is really disappointing. The gigabyte board. What are you guys discussing? Question that does your computer, I guess mine, have a window manager? Yes, this is Sway. This is the latest and greatest Wayland. I don't really need more than that, but Josh says they have super weird computer compiler errors. 5950X overclock in the past. Curve optimizer was too low. It was confusing to figure out. Yeah, I had that too. Usually, what I said this often, GCC and Clang and Rust are the best overclock undervolt stability testing. I run this curve. I think I run curve on this 1750X curve minus 23, or at least 21, maybe 23. Wish it would hire clock though. Did it previously hire? What was the advertised all-core clock? It's probably snappy enough. I only hope I still run. So previously on the main channel I set this Corsair 5600 kit, 64-bit kit, one of the largest, fastest kits you can currently buy. Wasn't stable at the vendor advertised XMP profile, so now I overvolted that quite a bit. So I dialed in because the bloody Gigabyte auto-tuner auto-tuned that sub-timings too low. So now I increased the voltage quite a bit more and dialed in all the sub-timings to their XMP defined values and not this Gigabyte auto-tune stuff. So far it appears to be clocking at 5600 now, so whatever the overvolt was. So yeah, so now a build aborted. Why? HP Debmod wasn't. Nah. Yeah, okay. Arch prefix Debmod. Yeah, maybe it is the safest to build mod tools than like that too. So it's always all messing, right? Not only my to-do always increasing because always you fix one thing, you find two more. Ah, darn. With patch here, oh, probably names it wrong. Oh, darn, this is not what I even freaking copy here. Oh, yeah, I edited that wrong. The question is that a good idea here? So we have here toolchain, program name, X prefix. Why do we have this X prefix here? Arch target. Yeah, let's only define arch target and see how far that gets us. Yeah, if you talk to me, which memory, some crucial. That previously was always holding to the camera. That one here, not a paid advertisement. This CMK64 GX5M2B 5600 C40. Yeah, 5600 CL40. Previously 2 times 32 gigs. So that probably should be that. One more thing, hopefully from our to-do. I mean, yeah, the sad thing is, as I said, you do one thing and you still don't delete your to-do because you still find 2 more. Basically, it's similar here. We did one thing, but for like newer Linux, it's like, yeah. Also, I think maybe there's something trivially wrong. Okay, with this we have done though. That's it then for this video. Yeah, one thing removed, one thing or 2 things still remain. So the last release ISO should have worked, or maybe you mount your partition wrong, or like you don't mount it or stuff. So that's it for this video. That I have file config. Okay, we wait a second. I probably will build. And then it's that soon for this video. I hope you enjoyed this and learned something. As usual, don't forget to share and subscribe. Or buy new constant is change. Peakpucks or hacker. Nobody was ever fired for choosing T2. Yeah, and I have some kernel modules. Oh shit, this still does not. Why does this not? Does this didn't install properly? So much to I probably should have double checked that than wasting 2 minutes 48 build time. This somehow didn't have the desired effect. Alright, because this is evaluated here already. Yeah. What did I say previously about pre versus post? But that's it then for this video. That should be the last thing. I don't wait another build for that. Still doesn't look much better. Why not? Still HP PARISC. Arch target. Should this not evaluate first? Oh wait, why is this not set? Oh wait, we do this wrong. Did I copy that somewhere where it is also wrong? Arch target, arch. This here is. Why did this not cause any issue, or is that arch prefix? Oh wait. And nobody said a word or didn't read it between all the other chattery there. Can that have any arch prefix, arch target? Now I wonder, but we run the mag file with the right. I'll see in a second if that's still. That looks better. Now we have the right ones. Wonder if that could have broken our Linux build, but I would think not, because we run that manually. That probably shouldn't have. Anyway, that's it for this video. See you next time, and don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and spread the word and stuff, and Patreon, get that sponsor.